I see a strong port as helping the community, and a strong community in a great, beautiful neighborhood and tourist destination helps the port as well. So we'll bring these two things together, and I think people will look back and say this was the moment when we finally got it right.
This is Koreatown. My name is Hwang Bae Kim. You watch LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
In LA this week.
I'm Anna Marcos. You can try your hand at being an angel at the City of Angels exhibit. It's all going on at the LA Public Library coming up.
A special treat from the city for young moms and moms-to-be. I'm Rasha Goel, and that story's up next.
Look up in the sky. The filmmakers behind the hit movie musical La La Land are honored on what is officially La La Land Day here in the city of Los Angeles. I'm Gil Reyes with a story next.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, by now you've probably heard the projected winners in last week's city elections, and it looks like Councilwoman Nury Martinez won't be the only woman on the LA City Council. Gil Reyes has more from Election Day.
1, 2, 3. The polls are out.
The cry went out at 7 in the morning. Voter Pixie McClune was among the first to vote.
You can complain all you want, but if you don't take that small action, even just voting, then you kind of don't have the right to complain about what's going on in your environment.
The voters have spoken, and LA City Council member Gil Cedillo appears to have won a second term. As of deadline time for the story, the councilman representing Westlake, Highland Park, and Chinatown had secured more than 70% of the vote in his runoff battle against challenger Joe Bray Ali. Meantime, the runoff contest for the vacant 7th Council District seat was still too close to call. Caro Tarosian and Monica Rodriguez are battling to represent Pacoima, Sunland Tujunga, and surrounding areas. Voters also appeared to have passed Charter Amendment C. This would give LAPD cops accused of misconduct a choice of either facing an all-civilian disciplinary board or one mixed with officers and civilians. Supporters say Measure C would help ensure officers get a fair hearing. Others say it was drafted with little public input. Now, by the time the story airs, we may have a clearer idea of who and what the winners of this election are. But keep in mind, the city's official election results usually don't come out until a week after the election, at the very least. In fact, the city has 28 days after the election to post official results. LA City Clerk Holly Walcott says this can be a problem for news media rushing to report early results as if they're final. During the last city elections, for example, some people were led to believe that Councilman Cedillo had won outright and didn't need to compete in a runoff. But all the votes were not counted yet.
Because that race was too close to call, and I knew it. I think the question people would always want to ask is how many outstanding provisional ballots and how many outstanding vote-by-mail ballots there are. And this is another testimony on why your vote counts.
I just vote every time just to vote because that's just what you should do.
Reporting on the unofficial results from Westlake, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
It also appears that supporters of charter schools have won a new majority on the LA School Board. Well, Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month kicked off by honoring a groundbreaking sitcom that's funny no matter what color you are. Gil Reyes reports from Fresh Off the Boat Day in the city of LA.
That's me, your boy Eddie Wong. Check it. 11 years old and moving from D.C. to Orlando.
A TV comedy about an Asian American family that families of other ethnicities can also really relate to. In fact, the Nielsen's indicate that ABC's Fresh Off the Boat ranks high among African American viewers. With creators and cast present, the city celebrates Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, declaring May 2nd Fresh Off the Boat Day in the city of Los Angeles. A show critics say is hilarious, whether you're Asian or not. Actor Hudson Yang.
It's an honor for this day, to be Fresh Off the Boat Day. I did not expect this to happen when I first started. It was an amazing experience with all the cast members.
It is the first primetime network sitcom about an Asian American family since 1994's All-American Girl starring Margaret Cho. But whereas that series only lasted one season, this series has gone on for 3, and cross your fingers, a 4th is on the way. Councilman David Ryu regrets the lack of Asians on TV and in the movies, especially growing up.
There was Bruce Lee when I was really young. He passed away at a much earlier age, and I believe that if Bruce Lee never passed away, if he lived till now, we would have had a completely different image of Asian Americans, especially the negative stereotypes about Asian American males.
The perspectives coming out of Hollywood remained and still remains predominantly one-sided. So for me, it is an honor that today we're being recognized for our show that's helping to change things.
It tells a quintessentially American story, one that we all relate to, but voices and faces that have too often been written out in Hollywood. We need this picture more than ever. At this moment, when people try to pull us apart, this is something that pulls us all together.
And I will do the show for free.
Next season, you'll be all right.
I can do walk-on, I can do whatever you want.
Reporting from Fresh Off the Boat Day, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The show is based on the real-life childhood of writer and celebrity chef Eddie Huang. While over in Chinatown, the highly anticipated reopening of a state park in Los Angeles marks a historic victory for Angelenos and the city. Rasha Goel has more on what the renovated park means for LA.
Finally, an open space Angelenos have been waiting for. Hundreds joined to celebrate the grand opening of the Los Angeles State Historic Park. The space is sandwiched between Chinatown and the Los Angeles River and surrounded by neighborhoods.
This park will offer millions of people an opportunity for rest and recreation near the heart of America's second largest city.
The park was once home to the Tongva Native American community and later became a port of entry for immigrants for nearly 2 centuries.
So today let us start by remembering first the Tongva who were here. Remembering the Chinese and the laborers who came, remembering the hangings and the riots, remembering the Indian laborers who tended these fields when they were vineyards, remembering the people who came and through not just the tragic moments, but the victories of survival, of perseverance, of persistence.
It's taken 16 years and 35 community groups to renew the park. Now it's 34 acres of open space with trees, grassy hills, picnic areas, and wildlife habitat enhancement.
I think it's going to be a great place for people to just come and get away from the city without leaving the city.
And I think it's really good for the families that they can come and bring their kids here and that they can also have a place for them to just run around and play. It's really done a lot for this area.
I'm going to enjoy coming down here on a daily basis to enjoy the park just for relief of my body, and it's wonderful just to have something so close.
The park was built with input from the community and is said to be a result of grassroots activism. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
State parks officials are now trying to secure funding for a second phase of development that will include pedestrian bridges linking the park to the nearby Gold Line station. Well, turning now to Mayor Eric Garcetti's stance on the environment. He says he'll fight President Trump's executive order to roll back environmental protections. And the mayor says he'll do it while still creating jobs in LA. The mayor says for him, the battle against pollution is personal. Gil Reyes reports.
I grew up at the intersection of the 405 and 101, and on my street we had a cancer cluster, and I'm the only person in my family who hasn't had cancer yet. There is no federal government that can take our will and our local power away to act. If the federal government and the administration wants to pull out of the Paris Climate Accords, we're going to adopt them right here in Los Angeles. We're going to join together with 86 other cities.
Mayor Eric Garcetti referring to a group he co-founded called Climate Mayors. Close to 90 mayors in cities nationwide pledging to reduce greenhouse gas emissions no matter what the president says.
It means jobs, jobs, jobs. We're going to continue to expand energy production,
President Trump has disputed climate change and says too many environmental rules are killing American jobs in coal and gas. But the mayor says planet Earth comes first. He takes a stand against the president at LA's Sustainability Summit hosted by the LA Business Council. Since taking office, President Trump has reversed course on several environmental regulations enacted during the Obama administration. These include measures to curb coal production, carbon emissions, and offshore oil drilling as just a few examples. Going in the opposite direction is LA Mayor Eric Garcetti. His sustainability plan, launched in 2015, has so far helped to create some 20,000 green jobs. LA is now the most water-efficient big city in America, and LA City government's fleet of vehicles now has more electric cars than ever before. And the mayor says he's not done yet.
Keep reaching for those big things because Los Angeles is getting that job done, California is getting that job done, and the United States needs us to get that job done so the world can see that we are the environmental leaders.
Reporting from LA's Sustainability Summit, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The mayor's sustainability plan is shooting for an 80% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Over in Watts, a local high school is going the extra mile to make sure its female students get the help they need. Rasha Goel has more on how the school is making a difference in the lives of young women.
18-year-old Leslie Mejia is expecting her second baby in July of this year. She's been a student at Thomas Riley High School for the past 3 years. She tells us she's happy to be at this school, which is dedicated to expecting and young teen moms.
They guide you through how to be a parent, basically. And then, like, all the things that they give you, the programs that they introduce to us, and, like, it's just a really helpful school, and they understand you, you know.
She is among the many students between the ages of 12 to 24 at Thomas Riley High School that hope to still fulfill their dreams.
They come to school from 8:15 to 1 p.m. They get parenting classes. They get everything else they need in support to continue their education, because regardless if they have a baby, if they're pregnant at any given age, they should have the right to continue their education.
In celebrating Mother's Day, the school held a health fair for these young ladies to receive additional resources they might need. They also received a special gift from Councilman Herb Wesson, who's been a supporter and had some inspiring words to share.
Well, you got to keep going to school, get your education. Any obstacle that's put in front of you, you can get over it, under it, around it, or through it.
A lot of the times they don't know what they're going through, and by them talking to someone, they will find some kind of help, or at least we can guide them to a doctor or something.
I spoke to a few girls here who told me they enjoy coming to a school like this because it's a place where they feel safe. They also get to talk to other girls in similar situations and not feel judged.
I actually like it better than regular high school.
It's an opportunity for these young women to take baby steps for a brighter future. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Thomas Riley High School also has two other sister schools in the LA area. Well, just down the street from Thomas Riley, an all-boys Catholic high school continues to beat the odds as its students set a new 10-year record for academic excellence and hold a commitment ceremony. Anna Marcos has more.
It's a little like athletic signing day for the smart kids. And boy, are the graduates at this college signing day enthusiastic. Standing ovations are common as the students highlight their achievements a month before they graduate from Verbum Day High School in Watts.
My major is nursing. My major is animation, and I'll be attending Marymount California University in the fall.
Cal Poly Pomona. I plan on majoring in culture, politics, and political economy at the one and only Georgetown University. I really wanted to get into, politics because a lot of people in my community don't understand it and don't know how to connect. Right now, my people feel like they don't have a voice, and basically I want to be their advocate.
Here's a statistic to be proud of. 100% of these grads get accepted into college, most of them into four-year universities. And that's a remarkable achievement in an area where about 50% of high school students drop out.
And I want to major in biology and hopefully double major in theology
on the pre-med course.
Now that's ambition, and Carlos Herrera, class valedictorian, has plenty of it. All the students are bred for success, with a corporate work program that allows them to go to school 4 days a week and work 1 day to help pay the tuition while getting real-life job experience. They also learn something extra along with the 3 R's, a college prep course that gives everyone a shot at college.
I think that we are rewriting the narrative for students in the inner city communities. And there are some amazing kids that live in this community. There are some motivated kids. There are some kids who are going to be our future leaders.
Hitting the books paid off for Carlos Rivas Jr. He's earned a $40,000 scholarship as he heads for a career in aerospace engineering.
I feel proud. I feel so emotional because he's going to graduate from high school and then go to college.
I'm going to make her proud.
These students have already made lots of people proud. In 10 years, not one graduate has failed to get a foot in the college door. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
School staff say getting in may be tougher than other schools, but they rarely turn anyone away due to grades if they are committed to change and to the program. For more information, visit the website on your screen. Well, have some free time and love books? Well, the LA City Library needs you. As Gil Reyes shows us, people of all ages are making connections through volunteer opportunities.
Well, that's great. Then we remember each other.
Meet Robert Goldsmith, better known affectionately as Grandpa Bob. At 100 years young, he volunteers at the LA City Library's Brentwood branch.
I think I enjoy more working with children than with adults because the children, especially the 4-year-olds, don't even know how impaired I am. So they think I'm normal, and that makes me feel real good. Hey, look at this one.
Grandpa Bob is a storytelling and reading, or STAR, volunteer. Brentwood's head librarian says Bob, a volunteer for the past 6 years, is a natural.
I remember one time in particular that I just heard this young kid, laughing, and as I like to say, it's the kind of laughter that comes deep from the soul. This kid was just cracking up. And I thought at first, that's a little loud, let me see what's going on. And Bob was reading them this funny story.
It's a chance for those of us who have lived a long time to give back something of our understanding and knowledge to the younger generation. Let's try the next page.
Grandpa Bob is rewarded too.
The day I spend with the children is the best day in the week. I look forward to it, and it sort of sparks my ambition to keep alive.
We have 72 branches and Central Library, and each one of those locations needs volunteers for a variety of different reasons.
So volunteer opportunities are waiting at your local branch. To find out more, log on to lapl.org and hit the Get Involved icon. Outside the Brentwood branch, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
You can also find opportunities by searching LAPL Volunteer on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, from books to the library's latest exhibit, which showcases some heavenly art as it pairs everyday Angelenos with a set of wings. Our own Anna Marcos takes in the celestial happenings. Anna.
Yana, want to try your hand at being an angel? You can try these painted on angel wings at the LA Public Library's City of Angels exhibit, where everyone can be an angel.
I think it brings out the angels in everybody.
This exhibit at the LA Public Library allows all Angelenos, no matter how naughty or nice, to show their wings.
I think it's going to be a huge hit. I think there will be hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands and thousands of people over the next few months taking their photo in front of the wings. And what could be a more wonderful celebration of Los Angeles?
But the central attraction at the exhibit is the group of photos of angel-like citizens, both the regular people and the VIPs. I mean, come on, a cop with wings? You bet. How about a street sanitation sweeper in all his celestial glory? Okay, it's pretty easy to imagine kids as angelic, some of the time anyway. The photos include every strata of society, from city leaders like Mayor Eric Garcetti to homeless residents on Skid Row, to women before and after giving birth.
It was such a moving exhibit because Bill Rosendahl was pictured and he's passed away. It was cute to see Mayor Reardon, who's the namesake of the Central Library, surrounded by kids, his love.
The seed for the idea started in 2012 when street artist Colette Miller created what she calls renegade street art, showing angel wings, which then grew into the Global Angel Wings Project.
Since then, it's gone global. I've done them in Africa, Australia, Taiwan, France. I do them globally. They're to remind humanity that we are the angels of this earth.
So here's a chance to show your own humanity, diversity, and your angelic side, Angelinos. The exhibit runs through August 27th. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
And when you visit, don't forget to post your angel wings on social media under the hashtag #ShowUsYourWings. While the city moves one step closer to permitting unapproved housing units, Mayor Eric Garcetti gets personal about his experience with homelessness, and another park kicks into high gear with brand new soccer fields. All these stories in City B. The Los Angeles City Council voted to approve an ordinance which will help boost the city's affordable housing stock at a time when the city is facing a severe housing crisis. The unapproved dwelling unit ordinance will safely permit previously unapproved housing in multifamily units, while requiring property owners to put an equal amount of affordable units at the same location on the market. Mayor Eric Garcetti took to the stage at the Los Angeles Theater Center for a special edition of the Moth Story Slam, a community program that promotes connection through personal storytelling. This event shed light on LA's homelessness crisis by giving storytellers a platform to share true-life tales about homelessness. The mayor, along with 10 others, shared 5-minute personal stories on the theme of home. The mayor talked about the connection he felt with one formerly homeless individual as he helped move him into his new home. The City of Los Angeles Department of Rec and Parks, along with Councilmember Paul Krikorian and the Bureau of Engineering, cut the ribbon to celebrate the grand opening of 3 new state-of-the-art synthetic turf soccer fields at Whitsett Fields Park in North Hollywood. Officials say an estimated 5 million gallons of water will be saved annually with the 3 new synthetic fields versus natural turf fields.
I prefer to see the kids in our community, in our soccer fields, doing soccer rather than being at the neighborhoods, doing things that they are not supposed to be doing.
The Oscar-winning love story La La Land pays tribute to some of LA's most scenic spots. But this time, it's the city honoring the filmmakers during La La Land Day in LA. Gil Reyes has more.
More than 300 feet above City Hall steps, aerial dancers perform numbers from the movie musical La La Land, a stylistic love story set in Los Angeles with so many of our favorite destinations as backdrops, including Angel's Flight in downtown and the Griffith Observatory. On hand for what's officially La La Land Day here in the city of Los Angeles are Oscar-winning director Damien Chazelle and producer Jordan Horowitz.
And Damien had this crazy idea that he wanted to make a musical romance that was a love letter to Los Angeles, and we were young and we decided we were just going to kind of shoot for the stars and try to make it happen. And it's pretty amazing that now 6 years later, I'm standing here on the steps of City Hall with the mayor behind me.
Mayor Eric Garcetti performing City of Stars. The song made composer Justin Hurwitz a 2-time Oscar winner for Best Original Song and Score.
So many of the musicians who played in the score grew up in LA and were part of the club scene or the LA music scene. Their whole lives. Other ones were the best musicians in their own cities and then flocked here.
Filmmakers thanked local leaders for helping to bring film production back to Los Angeles after years of runaway productions.
So I say to you, keep your productions here. Even if you don't get the tax credit, City Hall will work with you to shave your costs and to have locations like City Hall be free for you. And to be able to make sure that the vision that you have in your heart of a story that you want to tell can be told in the very best place on the face of the earth, right here.
And the film's worldwide appeal is expected to further boost LA's already impressive tourism numbers. You figure last year, 47 million people visited Los Angeles, the 6th straight year of record-breaking tourism. Outside City Hall, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Well, summer tourists and film fans will also want to visit Watts Tower and downtown's Grand Central Market. Both are prominently featured in La La Land. Well, if you love DIY projects, then you'll appreciate all the creative handmade zines on display at the latest LA Zine Fest. Let your hair down during a bohemian country and music fair, and salute our military during a Battleship Iowa Memorial Day celebration. All this in this week's Things to Do. The 6th annual LA Zine Fest is back. Celebrating self-publishing and DIY culture in the community, this year's fest will feature over 200 zinesters, writers, illustrators, comics creators, photographers, and more, selling, trading, and sharing their work all in one place for one day. Zine Fest will be held in the basement-level exhibit hall of the California Market Center in downtown LA on Sunday, May 28th. For more, visit lazinefest.com. Get in touch with your bohemian side at the 44th annual Topanga Days Country Fair and Fundraiser for Topanga's Community House. Over the years, Topanga Days has grown into LA Bohemian Rock Music Festival and has become so much more than just a fundraiser. It all takes place Saturday, May 27th through Monday, May 29th at 1440 Topanga Canyon Boulevard. For more, visit topangadays.com. Come celebrate Memorial Day at the Battleship Iowa. Enjoy an opening ceremony, then stay for a fun-filled day of activities including live music, DJ, food trucks, vendors, military vehicles, sailors bar, and more. The event honors the men and women who have served and continue to serve the U.S. It all takes place Saturday, May 27th at 10:30 a.m. at the Battleship Iowa located at 250 South Harbor Boulevard. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Don't worry, Patty. This isn't going to hurt me one bit. Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Shapiro in beautiful Encino, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Good morning. Good morning. If everyone would please take their seats. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, May 24th. Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bona, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Carrasco, Crane, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Martinez moves. Weezer seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Bonin moves. Buscaino seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that Council receive and file items 1C, 1E, 1G, 1J, and 1M, inasmuch as the liens have been paid in full.
Okay, so without objection, so ordered. Continue.
Mr. President, items 1 through 5 are items noticed for public hearing. We do have cards on all 5 matters.
Okay, then continue.
Items 6 through 21 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials. Well, let's prepare then to vote on these items. Let's open the roll. Hold on one second. Mr. Bonin, we're items 6 through 21.
Yes, I'd like to continue item 6 until Tuesday.
Okay, we'll continue item 6 until May 30th. Okay, let's vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Continue.
Mr. President, items 22 through 48 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Mr. Weezer.
Pardon me, sir. Mr. President, for item 39, the 2017-18 annual budget resolution has been submitted by the City Attorney, City Administrative Officer, and Chief Legislative Analyst. It has been posted, circulated, and is now before Council for consideration.
Okay, yes, Mr. Weezer.
Thank you very much. Item 43 special, please. Thank you.
Okay, let's hold 43, and let's prepare to vote on the remaining items.
And, Mr. President, we do have cards on a number of matters. Those would be items 22, 23, 39, 40, 41, 42, 44, 45, 47, and 48.
Okay, let's hold those items and vote on the remainder. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And, Mr. President, those ordinances will go over 1 week for second reading unless reconsidered later with 12 members.
Okay, Mr. Buscaino.
Disregard. We have to wait
All
for
right.
second reading. Thank you.
Continue.
Item 49 is an item scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold it on the
Let's
desk?
hold that on the desk.
Very good, sir. On the continuation agenda, items 50 through 52 are items for which public hearings have been held. A motion is required for item 52, and at this time should be held on the desk.
Well, let's hold that. Let's vote on what's remaining. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay. That should bring us, or I'd like to go to the multiple comments section on the agenda, and I'd like to call Mr. Walsh, John Walsh, followed by Mr. Previn. Mr. Walsh has items 1A and 1B, 2, 3, 4, 22, 23. Mr. Walsh, come forward, please. And Mr. Previn, you're on deck.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Number 1 is, of course, this concerns the Building and Safety Department. They do a good job. I'm not one of those white guys that get up there and say, "Oh, you're all a bunch of crooks! You're all a bunch of crooks!" If you do a good job, I take my white skin off and I tell you that you're doing a good job. Number 2, these are lighting. Once you got rid of the carbon arc lights, which were a constant bane to my existence, we haven't had a light go off in our neighborhood in 10, 12 years. Good work. Number 3, this is again administrative code. Protest to be submitted as a result of balloting. This is street lighting. Then 22. This is more street lighting, the maintenance of the street lighting, and a good job is being done throughout the district on street lighting. I'm not the kind of guy who squeezes every goddamn second out of this. You can take the 1 minute, 19 seconds and shove it up your ass. I don't need it. Okay. Do you know what happened yesterday at the police commission? There was almost a shooting at the police commission. This city is at war. This city is at war with people that are considered gangsters. Let's keep it quiet. We don't want my great-grandfather's country. He got his ass out of Switzerland. But I think what you have to realize now is that if you're foolish enough, the Swiss Commission, to come here, this isn't 30 or 40 years ago with a black mayor. You're going to have people killed. You're going to have shootings. You're going to have stick-ups. Because remember, the Parisian police control the streets. The LAPD can't even control their own goddamn building. And the story was covered up yesterday. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Previn? Mr. Previn, 1A, 1B, 1G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 39, 40, 41, 42, 44, 45, 47, 48.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. It is Eric Previn from the 2nd District. This is a jam-packed agenda. First of all, item number 27, obviously, is an opportunity to provide, the city will not pay fees to use city facilities for filming, which obviously sounds appropriate. It's a rollover, but congratulations. There are 2 other items, 41 and 42, that have to do with the LA Fire Department and Film LA. Film LA wants to get some additional money to do a better job of the data about filming, which I would ask that be a private subsidy by one of the many film companies that are treasured partners, not public dollars for that, sir. That would be a big, big problem because we don't have the money. The LAFD naturally likes to have a guy on a set, and this is in the interest of protecting the public. But we need to look closely at whether or not there's a lower cost way to do it or a way to have some kind of visits, because I think nobody wants to break the rules. We want to enforce, but we have a lot of money get paid by productions. It makes it harder and harder, and I don't know if you guys have studied that in a way that's focused on not enriching the UFLAC buddies, but in fact on doing something sensible for the public. The budget, which Mr. Faubel is now signing, so this is an alert to the public, paragraph 11 refers to the Brown Act several times. It's the one where several of the budget resolutions have ordinances to get more money off of the public, and the law requires that you may push you past the June 30th deadline. So I would ask that we be especially clear with those ordinances which are about getting more money off of the public. And also I would ask that you not post a budget within 1 minute and expect the public to be able to comment. It's just been hanging up for a minute, so that's inappropriate. Now, item 51 is Bonin is lowering the speed to 35 miles per hour. He is a leader in the nation at lowering the speed limit to sight people while also looking at prima facie speed limits to save lives. It's unclear that these will save lives, but it is
Mr. President,
clear that they will
we've
result
already
in
voted on
citations.
item 51.
51 has been voted on, Mr. Previn.
Well, thank you, sir. The North Hollywood Sign District in item 50 in my district, which was continued from yesterday, is...
Mr. President, item 50 has already been voted
Mr.
on.
Previn, speak to the items that I identified.
Please put the time back on my clock.
No,
I appreciate
please speak to the items that have been identified. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, a lease revenue bond at item 48. Is that on the agenda? Anybody want to shoot me down
You
on
know,
that
you're
one?
the one that filled
I
out
did
your
sign up
cards.
on-
You
I
should
know,
know
sir.
what you filled
Well, you
out
have
your
a
cards
50
on.
you have a
Okay, you
50-item
know what,
agenda.
Mr. Previn, let's go
48
to
is
his
a
1
lease
minute
revenue
of general public comment.
No, I disagree. 48 is a lease revenue bond. I'll take my...
You have 1 minute general public comment.
Sure. Well, you did a very nice job of trying to stay calm while absolutely violating a public speaker once again, sir, so kudos on that. Did a very, very nice job of making it seem like this is the ordinary run of the business for a large municipality in California. Just shut him down, stuff in too many items that he could possibly address, and then shut him down. So that's unfortunate. You know, item 45, which I didn't get a chance to finish, was David Rue and Mr. O'Farrell are throwing another $42,000 on enforcing the Hollywood sign ordinance. I mean, the Hollywood, you know, the tourism up there. This is the third particular visit there. It's unbelievable. And yet now you're also looking at a direct mail component after the public endured that Measure C blast across the media of Mayor Garcetti and you and Martinez and various others for something that amounts to picking the commission, but you're going to pick them anyway, so who cares if they're actual cops like, you know, Martinez or...
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go into the general public portion, and Madam City Attorney, the multiple comment section or portion of the agenda is now closed. We're moving into our general public comment. So if I could get Rosie. Is there Rosie? Marisa? Please come forward.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I live in Westchester, the 11th District, and I'm here to call, and I'm here to request that you do not put caps on my residential home. This has helped me. I retired, and I was totally cut off from everybody, and having Airbnb has really helped my life better by meeting people and having a richer life. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning to all. My name is Marisa Mendoza, and I'm here to speak about the no cap and residentials. I am an Airbnb host, and the reason why I'm here to tell you is that if it wouldn't be for Airbnb, I would not be able to have my house. So Airbnb is helping me to pay the taxes on my house and also help me financial. Please, I would like to Mr. Mike Bonner to consider. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That closes our general. There's a gentleman. Do we have a card, another card for general public comment? Did you fill out a? Well, here, come forward. So, and I did see you at the kiosk. So go ahead, identify yourself.
My name is Terry Wilburn, and I support all of the council. But my thing is this. My brokers have been murdered or kidnapped. And in doing so, papers been coming here under false pretenses. And they've been used because the UPS and Federal Express has been denying me everywhere. And now that I'm homeless because of this, they've been breaking into my home for me not to monitor the areas that I own, okay, like the stock market. Spectrum gets it in Burbank. The gays get it in Burbank. They go up to Oregon and Sacramento and take my names off. Bird and everybody else, Hamilton and Johnson of this committee, arching and murdering people of these.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Your time's expired. Thank you for coming down. So that closes the general public comment. Now we are going to take up items, Madam Clerk, 2 through 5, 22, 23, and 39. So let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Now, yes.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
sir. For item 39, would you like to send that forthwith?
Yes.
Very good.
Now let's move on to items 41, 42, 45, 44, 45, 47, and 48. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay. We'll go to item 40. I think I have cards on 40. Tia Kuntz, Marissa Nuncio. Yes.
Good morning, Council. My name's Tia Kuntz. I'm with the UCLA Labor Center. We've been providing technical assistance to municipalities throughout the state as they raise and enforce their minimum wages. I am here to toot OWS's horn on two aspects and to call them out on two other aspects. The first is to contextualize it for you guys. Since our wage has gone up in the city of Los Angeles, we've seen far more inquiries and complaints and wages owed be actually remitted to workers than any other city in the state. So congratulations, they're doing something right there. And the second is that I noticed that the presentation delivered by the BCA to you a few weeks ago in Entertainment and Facilities did not feature the amount of money and the report back on the community-based partnerships. Those are going phenomenally well. They've reached nearly 100,000 businesses and workers in industries and languages that would be difficult for the city to reach. However, it is really important that that agency be able to receive claims for overtime. If minimum wage isn't being paid, you know overtime isn't being paid. And finally, we would really like to clarify that paid sick leave is available to all workers, not just exempt workers.
Thank you so very much. Next speaker, please. Hi.
Hi, good morning. My name is Marissa Nuncio. I'm the director of the Garment Workers Center. I'm here to speak on the Office of Wage Standards. The Garment Workers Center is a community organization that advocates for the rights of local garment workers. We've done this work for over 16 years and have developed an expertise here. This is an industry with over 45,000 workers and rampant wage theft. Workers are earning as little as $4 an hour. Our members in the organization continue to be very supportive of the Office of Wage Standards because we seek all the tools at their disposal. However, the office currently cannot fully serve garment workers because it lacks the authority to hold factory owners and manufacturers liable as state law does. We can't recommend workers go to this office without that. So we're here to advocate that the Office of Wage Standards collaborates closely with the state DLSE, Labor Commission, and coordinate streamlined investigations together. The purpose is to increase resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
All right. Mr. Huizar, you want to take up 43?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, I rise to bring to our attention an item that's before the MTA board tomorrow, and it's been long-standing policy of this city to oppose an underground 710 freeway extension that will cut through the El Sereno community and portions of Highland Park in the city of Los Angeles. The report before us points out that the underground tunnel does not meet any environmental standards that the city has been proposing with more sustainability. It also contradicts some of our Vision Zero policies, and at the same time identifies why the social injustice has been done for many years to these communities. At the board tomorrow, they will. There's a proposal to move from the underground tunnel and use some of the money that was dedicated to that for certain transportation improvements throughout the region. Unfortunately, while the EIR states that over a third of the impacts will hit the city of LA, the city of Los Angeles has been out of those discussions. Most of that money is designated for the San Gabriel Valley, and we need to be part of that. We need to support any concept of having an advisory committee that is representative of all the communities, including the City of Los Angeles, El Sereno, and Highland Park, so that we get our fair share of the dollars should Metro decide not to move forward with the tunnel. I've been working with Mayor Eric Garcetti, Supervisor Solis, and the Metro board members to ensure that the city is eligible to apply for those funds should that happen. As part of today's vote, we are also supporting AB 287, which calls for the creation of an advisory committee to help guide the reinvestment. We will support that should the city get its fair representation on the committee to know what to do with the remaining dollars. So I ask for your aye vote on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Huizar. So on this item, let's open the roll. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mr. Cedillo, I'm sorry I missed you. The floor is yours.
I have incredible respect for my colleague and his work on this issue, but have a different perspective, as you know, on this. In fact, the history of the city is that this has been a position of the city, but for a shorter period, I'd say 4 years perhaps. Let me suggest that another perspective is that there is a social injustice that takes place. It takes place along the corridor. It takes place and impacts communities of color. It has an adverse impact, particularly where the freeway ends. The smog in that area is measured, and it has a greater impact the closer you are to the corridor, and those are communities of color. There is a very deep and sincere sense of protecting these communities, and that's gone on for about 50 years. But the tunnel is the alternative and does protect these communities. In fact, it is the tunnel that will leave intact every house, every tree, every street that was meant to be protected. And so the tunnel is actually the alternative that does protect these communities. There is a impact by failing to do this tunnel, and the impact is on the communities within my district that are adjacent to Mr. Huizar's. People come on Valley to Main, to Los Angeles. People come on North Broadway into downtown Los Angeles off of Huntington Drive. People come into Los Angeles from Pasadena area through North Figueroa because this connection is not made. And so there's a backup that's created, and it's a regional problem. It's not simply a problem at the intersection of Valley and Fremont, but it's a regional problem. And I agree that we should be part of that discussion, but that discussion should take place in the framework and the context of its impact, not just on the 14th, but the 1st, Alhambra, El Sereno, the adjacent cities, and we should look seriously at the freeway in a very dispassionate way, not the freeway rather, but the tunnel. I, in fact, wrote legislation that excludes a surface freeway so that we could move forward and move the discussion to focus it on the tunnel. Those transportation dollars are, in fact, for the tunnel. That's what they were intended to do, and that's what they should do, and we should move away from the kind of hysteria that gets engendered by this discussion and move into a dispassionate discussion about the benefits of a tunnel and how it accomplishes the goals for all the communities impacted.
Mr. Huizar.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I just ask that we come in line with the mayor who agrees, Supervisor Solis, and Metro board member Fasana, who has spearheaded this motion and will be heard tomorrow in Metro. All of us agree that it's time to get away from this boondoggle of a project that's going to cost billions of dollars but not ease much transportation, and that those dollars instead be used in a more efficient way, in a 21st century way of planning for transportation. So I ask for an aye vote and come in line with what we think is going to be a new day at the Metro Board tomorrow when Fasana presents his motion and supports the mayor and Supervisor Solis. Thank you.
Okay, so let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 1 no.
Okay. That brings us where? We can go to item 1. Let's do item 1. Okay, so now on item 1I, I'd like to make a verbal motion that we waive the late charges, which are $1,375, which then would reduce the cost to $998.58. If I could get a second. Mr. Bonin seconds. So let us prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate.
11 ayes.
That's approved.
And, Mr. President, remaining for number 1 are items 1A, 1B, 1D, 1F, 1H, 1K, 1L, and 1N.
Okay, so that is now before this body. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Let's send item 46 forthwith. Mr. Buscaino.
Yeah, if we can, Mr. President, on 46, you just mentioned forthwith. I do need an urgent forthwith. This is a location in San Pedro. It's been a source of quality of life crimes. We need to get this property
Okay, so let's vote on urgent
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
forthwith. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, now, sergeants, why don't you prepare, or if you would, prepare the chambers for closed session?
unfortunately have never had a traffic accident like this before, where a teenager has decided to run from the police and been struck by a motor vehicle.
5859 KF 5060, watch 3. 5060.
Curfew laws restrict the right of juveniles to be outdoors or in the public places after 10 p.m. until sunrise the next day. Such laws aim to establish a safer community and to better protect people from becoming victims of crimes or becoming involved in a crime. Most people don't agree with our curfew laws and would rather run the risk of being picked up by the police and ticketed for violation of curfew. However, they are more likely to run into the many real dangers that face us every time we go out at night.
We found that kids out so late are normally caught up in violence, traffic accidents, and when we up to no good. Some of these kids still they're not aware of the law, and they're not educated on it.
Drinking, drugs, sexual predators, and gang-related activities are only few of the dangers we face regardless of how young or old you are. If you are under the age of 18, this law applies to you. What happens if you are caught? You will be taken to the station where the ticket is written out to you and your parent or guardian are called to pick you up. If your parent cannot pick you up, you will be placed into a protective custody or sent to a juvenile facility.
Guardian at something like an event such as Cabrillo Beach.
The guardian is not just someone appointed to by the parents. A guardian is someone appointed by the courts.
You can legally stay out late if you are participating in a religious, educational, or political activity, accompanied by a parent or guardian, going to or from their place of employment, responding to some type of emergency, returning home from school, cultural, or recreation activity.
And that's our message, is not only enforcing the curfew violation, but also educating them that they need to stay home and stay safe.
The curfew laws are not just here to protect us, they are here to protect the safety of everyone in our community.
investigating a series of bizarre and disturbing attacks that have left children in cities from coast to coast injured and fearing for their safety. As Global's Anna Gabauer tells us, the young victims were targeted simply because of the color of their hair.
Dave Better-While we begin with an Eyewitness News exclusive disturbing video of a gay man being beaten in Queens.
The individual was attacked simply for his orientation, and we're just not going to tolerate it.
The word hate is just inexcusable. It's a word that shouldn't be used, and to hate somebody for the color of their skin is just not right.
It creates fear among all of the community members.
I think it's wrong how people discriminate against others just because of the way they prefer people, as in gays or just their skin color. It's wrong, and something needs to be done.
Mr. Krikorian?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for reconsideration of item number 50 now that we have 12 members.
I'm getting ready to just hold on. I got you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Let's, I believe we're back on, so why don't we take care of this item? Mr. City Attorney, you have an announcement?
Yes, I'm going to summarize the terms of the settlements before we vote on them. Regarding Culver City agrees to dismiss the appeal. 1. 2. Cooperate regarding future development at Los Angeles World Airports, LAWA. 3. Implement certain intelligent transportation system, known as ITS. LAWA, in return, agrees to pay $2.71 million to Culver City for implementation of the ITS. Regarding the settlement with Inglewood, terms 1, 2, and 3 apply, and in addition, term 4, implementation of a Inglewood agrees to implement a transportation demand management system, TDM, and LAWA agrees to pay Inglewood approximately $14.9 million for its ITS implementation and $10.6 for the TDM implementation.
Okay, thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, so now let's vote on item 52 as amended. On item 52 as amended.
And, Mr. President, amending motion 52A has been circulated and posted and is now before council for consideration.
Okay, so let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now let's handle some other business. We need to vote on some reconsiderations. I know Mr. Krikorian mentioned 50, I believe 51. What else do you have for us to vote on reconsideration?
Mr. President, the ordinances, items 22 through 30 could be reconsidered.
Okay, let's do that plus the 2 items I mentioned. So let's open the roll. Are we good? So let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now let's actually vote on the items. And do you want to restate which items they are, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. President, those would be items 22 through 30, item 50, and 51.
Okay, so now on the items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
All right. What's, Mr. Krikorian, you good, everybody? Okay, so what's next on the agenda?
Mr. President, council has motions for posting and referral.
Okay, they're posted, they're referred. Announcements, members' announcements. If we could all rise. If we could all rise, all in the chambers, please rise for adjourning motions. I'm going to start off with Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, I wish to adjourn in memory of Noritoshi Kanai, former chairman of Mutual Trading Company and the man who made it possible for everyone in America to experience authentic sushi and many other Japanese fine foods. Noritoshi Kanai was born in Tokyo and joined the Mutual Trading Company based in Little Tokyo in 1951. He became president of the company in 1976. 2016 marked his 65th year with Mutual Trading. Often called the culinary ambassador of Japan to the United States, Kanai introduced edamame, sushi, ramen, and other foods to America. He first served sushi on a dare to his business consultant. After seeing him devour it without hesitation, Kanai set out to overturn the popular belief that Americans don't eat raw fish. He convinced the owner of the former Little Tokyo restaurant, Kawafuku, to start serving sushi, and Kanai designed the sushi counter and coined the term sushi bar. In 2008, Kanai helped create a school for professional career chefs to ensure the Japanese culinary art form continued for future generations. In 2010, he founded the Sake School of America to train for professionals in that category. For his lifetime contributions serving the Japanese American community, Kanai was awarded the Order of the Rising Sun Kunsho, Gold and Silver Rays in 1994 from the Japanese government. Today, Mutual Trading leads the Japanese food service business and spans across the Pacific with 9 offices in America, Japan, and Peru. Condolences to his family, friends, and everyone he impacted. He will be greatly missed. And Mr. President, I also ask that we adjourn in memory of longtime El Sereno resident Rodolfo Rudy Garay Sr. Rudy grew up in East Los Angeles and moved to El Sereno in 1957 with his wife, Rebecca Garay, and their 5 children, 3 boys, 2 girls. Rudy and Rebecca were married for 65 years. Rudy was a veteran of the Korean War, and he loved to tell his experience in the war to his children and grandchildren. He loved the El Sereno Veterans Monument, attended all the Memorial Day events and Veterans Day events, and all paid tribute to his colleagues, which he missed dearly. He came from a family that loved to dance and have a good time. His favorite hobby was dancing the jitterbug with his wife and family members, and he was a huge Dodger fan. Rodolfo Garay Sr. is survived by his wife Rebecca, his 5 children, and many grandchildren. He will be greatly missed by all who knew him. Condolences to his family and friends. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, I'm looking still to my right. Any other adjourning motions to my right? Now, Mr. Englander.
Thank you very much. Today I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Mr. Dick Branton, Porter Ranch. Dick Branton was born in 1925 and joined the Navy during World War II, and he served bravely and retired from the Navy in 1968 as a submarine squadron commander. In 1969, Dick and his family moved to Porter Ranch, and during this time, he began a second career at Litton Industries, where he went on to earn his master's degree. But he's perhaps best known for his service as a key member of the LAPD Devonshire Volunteer Surveillance Team. He was one of the founders of VST, and he was also known as the best trainer in the organization. He was an active VST member since the beginning in 1992 up until January of this year. Over the years, Dick's observations led to many arrests by the Los Angeles Police Department, including a bank robbery in 2015. He's survived by his wife, Jeannie, his children, Stephen, Patricia, and Elizabeth, and several grandchildren. He was a kind man and a true leader who was loved by the entire community, and he'll be greatly missed. He had an idea years ago that we were having all these break-ins into vehicles, particularly during the holidays around the malls. So he grabbed a bunch of guys and some of the VST members, and they'd bring chairs and hot coffee, an umbrella, and they'd go up onto the rooftop. And they'd sit at the rooftop all night long, sitting up there in the cold, drinking their coffee, telling war stories, talking about their family, and glued to their binoculars. And without fail, every day, they'd be on the radio, we got another one, we got another one, we got another one. And this is what he loved to do. He'd go out there and go into the parks late at night and look for people doing all kinds of crazy behaviors and call them in. And he dedicated his life to that, to the community. And, you know, it's rare to find people like that. And he'll be missed. He was a very dear friend. So as we adjourn in his memory. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm now still looking to my left. I don't see any members. This meeting is adjourned.